sir.
Yo. Welcome back to the Mark Our Words podcast, the official podcast of YouTube. You know that will be real one day. It's going to mean something one day.
Official podcast?
Yeah.
You sure it's not going to be on Rumble or all these weird Donald Trump websites?
But actually,
Daily Motion.
Actually, I got a promo code.
For Rumble?
No, I never even heard of Rumble. I got a promo code because I signed up for it months back for Blue Sky.
I never heard of Blue Sky.
That's Jack Dorsey. Jack Dorsey. I think that's how you say his name. Dorsey. New platform
for videos.
Twitter.
Oh, he has a new Twitter
called Blue Sky.
That's funny.
So So if you signed up, they send you a code for you to try out the app.
That's right.
And beta and stuff like that. I haven't tried it. I got the code, but I haven't tried it.
That would be so funny. If that joint takes over Twitter.
Twitter's crazy now, though.
I don't really use it, so I don't know.
Twitter is crazy. I still get my laughs from there. But anyway, to finish, the official podcast of YouTube was good with you, Moses.
Man, nothing much, man. We got the plant on this side this time.
Yeah.
To hide what's ever back there. But yeah.
What's back there?
Just a bench, but
okay.
Just in case, you want to do the zoom out, you don't have to worry about.
Nah, I feel you, man. The life is good, man. Life is, as you would say, beautiful.
Gorgeous.
You know what I mean?
It's a gorgeous day.
Today, I mean, it was first day was warm yesterday. The past couple of weeks, it's just been cold.
Man.
And I'm just like, yo. Now me, I ain't hating because I ain't turned the AC on, but still at the same time, I ain't trying to be cold in the house too. You know what I mean? But it's just beautiful. It's just a beautiful time in my life, I guess.
That's a good. I remember. I keep bringing this up. I remember when that wasn't the case. I remember one time I asked you, "Are you happy?" He was like, "No." I was like, "Oh." Like before, you were like, I don't know. I remember when you just said no.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't know. I love hearing that you're in good space.
That's a real answer, though. I like that answer, though.
No, that was a real answer. I didn't know what to do.
Have you ever heard somebody ever tell you no that they're not happy?
No,
me neither.
But you give real answers.
I mean, yeah. I feel real feelings. I mean, like, I don't know. I it's funny because I don't consider myself vulnerable. Because to me, like, me telling you how I feel doesn't take effort for me. Or it's like, I don't feel like I'm opening up to you. I'm just like, hey.
What does opening up mean?
That's
to you, I mean.
I don't know.
Okay, if opening up doesn't mean open up your emotions to me, then what does that mean?
I don't. That's why I probably need couples therapy with.
My man's so vulnerable, he don't even know he's vulnerable.
No, because I'm not. Because like to me,
this is just me.
Because it's kind of like I'm not lying to you,
mm-hmm.
but at the same time, I'm not giving you the source of why I feel what I feel. Okay. I actually could tell you how I feel today.
I see,
but like we're not getting the nitty gritty of what making me feel that way, and what's causing that and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I am vulnerable, but like. The reason why I feel like I'm not vulnerable is because I feel in control with everything that I share. Like, I just feel like, okay, I'm going to go share this much. I ain't going to share everything else.
That's fair.
And with some people feel like I share a lot. Like, I share about 50, 60%. The 40 is where the 40% is really the 40% is really where the juicy stuff is at, I guess. But, no, man. And the reason why I said couples therapy, I've been watching a show on Showtime called Couples Therapy. I want to have her on, the therapist. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Forgive me for that. But I want to have her on. I love her pace of conversation when it comes to her job. It is amazing to watch. I text you about it. I think it'd be a great watch to watch with you and your lady. Not because y'all need couples therapy, but it's just entertaining. This is the real reality TV show. Like, you know how they have like the fake reality TV show, like like Love and Hip Hop and things like that. They just create, This is real reality TV show. People go talk to therapists and spill their heart out. You know what I'm saying? Like that's real life. So and then they gotta leave and and learn to cope with each other. Like, what do you do after a bad couple session? Do y'all go out to eat after and try to, like, you know what I mean? Do you go to these separate corners? It's like, it gets rough. But maybe one day I'll do it. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where this conversation.
No. We are definitely stay on topic.
but I do want to touch on that. Like, I remember there was a older lady who recently went through a divorce, and probably like a year or two after the divorce, and she said that the tools that she gained in couples therapy, she wished she had in the beginning of her relationship, but by the time she had got or was aware of those tools, it was too late for a marriage. Which then always sat with me, right? It was like, wait, there's tools? Because, nobody really knows how to do relationships well. Without, like, because, we've been given all this garbage on Disney Channel, and Nickelodeon, and Lifetime.
Shout out to Haley, man. The Mermaid's coming out this month.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to the Bailey sisters in general.
Man,
Chloe just released her
album. She on tour.
The album's not that bad. I don't know what people are saying.
It's not bad at all.
It's a little. Anyways,
It's not Ungodly Hour. That last album together.
Yeah, that Ungodly album.
Was fire.
That was fire. But it's still. But that's a testament to her talent.
Yeah,
that she can release a great album.
Peaks and valleys. That's what life is.
But yeah, it always sat with me. I was like, man, I think, if I ever were to get into my next relationship, which I'm in now, one, I would go to therapy myself just to make sure,
Mm-hmm.
And then two, one thing that we wanted to see, which was one of our goals last year, was to get a couples therapist. We actually met with one, and she was like, I don't know if, because, you guys are young. What I can do is recommend you guys a book, and that's the book that we currently read.
Oh, okay. So that's the source of where the book came from.
Yeah.
What, the therapist said that y'all too young for therapy?
Not young, but y'all a young couple. We only been together for a couple of months at that time.
Y'all ain't really got nothing.
She's like, yeah.
But at the same time, with my relationship, boy, we needed couples therapy. And when I say we, she, you know what I mean?
I'm just the co-host.
No, man.
I don't control anything that comes up. So you got beef with somebody?
Man, she needed to see somebody. But the thing about it is, sometimes I don't wish I was single. But listen to this phrasing.
Okay.
How crazy is it that when you first, I wish I could meet somebody. I wish I could meet my current girl for the first time again, and be like, let's go to couples therapy. How weird is to ask somebody to go to couples therapy like as soon as y'all get together? Because I'm like,
what do you mean get together?
I mean, like
y'all
as soon
in
as
a relationship,
as soon as y'all want to get in a relationship, basically like let's say y'all like dating, and then that's when y'all get exclusive, and then that's when y'all officially become boyfriend, girlfriend, or like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how weird is it to be like, hey, why are we exclusive before we make a decision if we go be together? Like, how about we go to therapy together?
Well, that's a financial commitment.
I'll pay my half, you pay your half. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I think
because what I've seen based off this show,
mm-hmm.
and I'm giving a slight review on this show. Yo, some of these problems, you wish you caught them in the beginning. And it's like...
But you don't know about those problems.
You don't...
Until like maybe 6 months in. That's why I'm like right before the relationship.
We ain't even talk 6 months in. You talk about these people who've been together for 17 years and they just been going through... Like, the only testament that they have the only testament that they have is that they're still together. But like for 17, I'll probably say for 15, 14 years, and I'm thinking of this one couple specifically, they just been going through it. Like through it. But the therapist said something that was so interesting to me. She said, like, the guy was expressing himself. He was telling, quote unquote, his side of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And she was cutting him off, saying that's not true. That's not the facts. And the therapist said, the facts doesn't matter right now because his part of the story is the most interesting part. The same as your part of it, how you view things is interesting. The facts is the least interesting part in this situation. And I'm just like, wow. Like sometimes the facts will stay the facts, but if someone perceive it differently from their vantage point of how they see it, it blurs the lines, and it's like, wow. And like I said, I'm not trying to make the whole episode about that. I'm just really hooked on this show, and yeah, man.
I mean, one of the things in the book that we were reading together, they said that how a couple looks at their past relationship determines how they see it. It determines whether they're going to stay together or not.
Really?
So if you look at your marriage or your wedding day as a terrible tragedy, which is one of the couples in the book looked at their marriage, the guy knew like it was over. Like he was like, you could try, but there's nothing, like they don't even see the there's no fondness of their history. Versus there was another couple who, the guy, he works all the time, and it's funny that we was talking about busy, but he works all the time, and he's in the hospital, and he does, he's always working, but he comes home and he doesn't really know what's going on, to the point where he doesn't know where the back door is or the name of the dog. Like he doesn't know anything about the family life.
Incompetent.
And so
inept.
And even they was even touching on a part of their interaction where she came to his hospital because she was like, you know what, if he's not going to be present in our lives, let me try to make the effort to be present in his space. Mm-hmm. So she comes to the hospital and we went with like a picnic type of lunch. And he gets upset. He was like, this is embarrassing. How can you just come to my work without announcing yourself, this, that, and third? And she kind of felt like small. And then his phone rang, or his pager rang. And so he answered it. And his tone just quickly changed. And he sounded so helpful and kind and this, that, and third. As soon as he got off the phone, he started, because he's a doctor. And so as soon as he got off the phone, he started, going. And she said that was when she had enough. Anyways, their relationship got even worse because now she's like, you know what, I'm not going to even bother with him, blah, blah, blah. And so they sit at the couple's, the therapist's office, and they're talking about. And so one thing that he likes to do, he doesn't like to ask, what's your problem? Because he's like, if people are already angry with each other, why make them even angrier?
Okay.
So one thing he does, he's like, well, tell me how you guys met. Tell me about your wedding. And so a lot of times, if there's still love there, they would say, I remember her, she came into the dining room, and at first I was really scared to talk to her, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And these are stories that they didn't even share with their partner. So now their partner, like the lady,
it's like their view.
He was nervous when you met me?
Yeah.
Oh, he knew about that?
Yeah.
He knows that part of me? Like, because now she feels invisible in his life. But there was a point where she was invisible. And so it shows the other people, the other couple, or other person in that relationship, that no, there's still love there. And then also it for that therapist anyway, it identifies, there's something to work with. But that was interesting. Like, how do you view your history with that person? And sometimes if it's bad, you could work towards fixing that by continuously reminding yourself of all the good things that your girl does.
Nah, it's definitely a fun watch. I do advise y'all to watch couples therapy on Showtime.
This man really don't want to talk about therapy.
I was like, hey, we give you a 15 minutes. 15 minutes. We stayed on topic, or do you want to stay on this topic?
I think I like this topic.
No, like honestly, I really have no problem, because that just gets us closer to 6 episodes. It's easy. And then I'll show you to get up out of here. I do look forward to going back to therapy, but with someone, because it's very rare you really do get to hear someone else's side of how they do it, because I don't know, man. We are just so, as humans, men too. I see it more in men, that like, it's like, unless you ask me directly, you're really not gonna know. Like, for example, when my girl tell me a story, she tells me every detail to the point where I don't even know the point of the story anymore because she's telling me every detail. And with guys that I find is that we gloss over the minor details to get to the overall point of the story, which is it's cool. But like you said, if you're in therapy and the therapist is helping you, like, how did like you feel when you first met her? Like, yeah, I felt nervous. Like, that's something that I wouldn't
tell you, girl,
because it doesn't serve the overall purpose of the story. But it's like, nah, man. Like, one thing I've learned with watching this show, talking is so important. No, like seriously, talking is important, and don't let nobody gaslight you as if nonverbal communication is not real. A lot of people would say, I ain't say that.
Yeah.
But your nonverbal communication is as loud as your verbal communication.
Yeah.
Especially when like it was some scenes where like these people were sitting down and they were rolling their eyes or they wasn't looking while like the person was talking, and they was giving nonverbal communication to whatever that person was saying, and the therapist would stop and be like, how do you feel about what they're saying? I see you feel some type of way. And the person would be like, I ain't saying anything. No, you're non-verbally speaking. And we can't hide behind the fact that just because I didn't say it, I'm not saying something.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And I'm like, wow, talking is very important. Why don't we just talk? And I'm not talking about just us. I'm not talking about people with podcast mics and things like that. I know y'all want us to put our mics away as of
another two black men podcast.
You see, the problem is I'm emotionally intelligent. It's just like I know y'all wanted to put the mics away. You know what I mean?
I'm just trying to save my sisters.
It's like I feel you, but the problem is like a lot of problems that I've seen based on that show is that these people don't talk about. They talk around an issue, and there's a lot of people don't know the source of the issue. People know the source of the transgression because there's like transgression where let's say somebody may cheat or somebody may do anything, but nobody really knows the source of why they did what they did. Because you may just think I'm a bad person and I did something bad.
Yeah.
This actually was this one guy who he cheated on his girl. It was an open relationship, but he cheated because he didn't let her know. They had rules.
Oh, okay.
He went off to Colombia, and he said, "I'm missing you so much right now. I love you." And da 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 da. He's talking to his wife on the phone. He said, I miss you so much. And she said, well, you could go take care of that, right? He took that as, I can go out and get somebody in Colombia because I'm missing my wife. She meant pleasure yourself, right? So he cheated, and for years, all she do is talk about it because, like, cheating on somebody is hard to get over, I guess. You know what I mean? But he don't like talking about it because it makes him feel bad. Like, he really felt bad about cheating on his wife to the point where every time she brought it up, he just gets angry and, like, starts yelling at her, like, what do you want me to do? You keep talking about it. But when they got to the end of the sessions, he wants to view himself as a good person, but he's having a hard time viewing himself as a good person because he did something so hurtful to his wife. And without therapy, it's hard to view it that way. It's kind of hard to feel bad for the cheater. It's weird because it's like you did something wrong.
Yeah.
But it's like, dag, even though y'all got past it in a way, that guilt is kind of eating him up and it's making him lash out in toxic ways because he didn't forgive himself and for hurting his family, even though they still together. But it's like, wow, it's kind of hard without a therapist for someone to help you talk and see that, to see the source of that. So it's like, wow. One thing I definitely want to do, I want to get a therapist on the show because I really want to know the importance of talking. Because these people are professional talkers. And when I say professional talker, I'm not talking about like speech people who write speeches and do speeches. Like, these people just know how to communicate with the mind. And it's just like, it's interesting to see. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the you know that's one of the things that I think there should be a class, like how to communicate with other people. Because yeah, I think people should talk more, but the issue is people don't know how to talk. Like even in the book, they talk about how like there's these things. What do they call it? Like I don't know. There's these things that people do that kind of mitigate a escalated situation.
Okay.
Before it gets to a point of no return. But even that doesn't work unless you guys are in a good place. For example, there's a couple that they use as an example where they were kind of arguing about like the car.
And this is in the book.
And this is in the book.
Okay.
They're moving right now. They're about to move to a different place, location, and so they were thinking about buying a new car. She wants a minivan because they got kids and whatnot. And he's like, "Why don't we just get like an SUV?" You know. And so this is an argument that keeps coming up. And so as the person is observing them, because he wants them to be in like a real world type of situation before before he gives any advice.
Mm-hmm.
He's just observing them. Their voices start to escalate and gets to a point where it seems like they're about to start yelling at each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so then
the therapist is just watching.
He's just watching. And so then he sticks out his tongue because that's something that she does, right? Because to mimic their child. Like he sticks out his tongue and so, because he knows that she's about to do it. And then they start to laugh about it. And then it diffuses. Versus if they weren't in a good place, he sticking out his tongue might have pissed her off. And so they show these little interactions where one, the book says that you're allowed to argue with your girl. The issue becomes apparent when the person doesn't believe that the relationship, or the person believes that the relationship has suffered because of that argument. Like if you feel like, man, I don't like, can I do this anymore? Like, why am I even with her? Like if you start having those thoughts after an argument, you're probably not in a good place. And so and even talking about how like most of the times guys feel flooded, and going back to that one relationship, one person that you was talking about, where a woman would just continue, and it could be reversed, but usually the woman would continue to like pile on, and the guy would just shut down.
Yeah, and also to add a minor detail.
Yeah, go ahead.
He was looking. He's been looking for jobs throughout, and he's been getting offer letters, and they have been offering a wage that will support him and his family. So he's out of work. He's home taking care of the kids, but he's dealing with rejection daily, monthly, while still feeling bad about what he did and things like that. And in no way I'm defending his actions. In no way. But it's like it's kind of like they made a decision that they was going to stay together by going to a therapist in some fashion.
Yeah.
Because even people view it as a first resort or last resort. In some fashion, you're like, before I throw away the relationship or to save my relationship, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
So they wanted to get past it, but they needed help. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And there was some things that she was doing that wasn't helping him get past, of course, even though she was the one that was wrong. And there were some things he was doing to himself that wasn't helping him get past, as well as, of course, the transgression. And it's like, that's crazy. Even to your point where you was talking about how, like, being allowed to argue. I honestly don't like to argue. I actually was watching this interview with Keenan Thompson from Keenan and Kel, and he was on Neil Brennan podcast Blocks, and they was talking about hey, why did you get divorced, and he was listing some things like I work too much, and one thing that kind of made me like scared, not the working part, he said, I'm also even killed too, like I don't really get too up, I don't get too down. And like she got bored, and I'm like, whoa, like I'm even killed. Like I don't get too high, I don't get too low. So it's like, if I don't express that, even though I think my girl knows me now, and I'm not boring. I'm just not too high, too low. I'm just constant. I'm a constant beat. And I was like, oh boy, this is something I need to share, because I don't want my girl to be coming to me talking about something I'm bored, and I'm just like, I'm just chilling. I'm happy, or like I'm content with my life or something like that. And I was like, that's interesting. That, like, I guess from that person in that relationship, he was so even killed that contributed as well to the divorce. And even how he was talking, you sure could tell, like, Keenan's like a mellow guy. Like, his voice don't get loud. He's still expressive. Like, he's not talking in a monotone voice. But I'm just like, wow, people are really different. And I wonder, outside of couples, do vulnerability, like, serve us outside of relationships? Like, does it help to be vulnerable, like, at work, or vulnerable in friendships? I know it helps in some way to be vulnerable in friendships. But, like, when I think of vulnerability, I just think about, like, okay, I guess I just gotta be open with my girl. But I'm not really thinking, like, I'm vulnerable with everybody else. Because I'm thinking, like, no one really requests that of me. I talk about of my core group and things like that compared to somebody else. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good question. I think it is in different ways, right? Like, if you're in a job, like, you would hope that, one, the space, is safe enough to do this, but you would hope that you're able to let your boss know, like, I don't know how to do this, or hey, I need more time to do something.
And hope that you still got your job or whatever.
Yeah, but that's necessary, because if you tried to do something, and usually it's like deadlines, like, hey, I won't be able to get this done,
Yeah.
at the time that I say I will get that done. It takes some type of vulnerability, because nobody wants to feel like a failure, right? So I think it shows up in different ways, right? You want to go to your girls like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna get this done. Like, what's she gonna do for you? So I think it's like, what does that vulnerability do for you? I think the difference, though, is that with your relationship, there is a knowledge map that you need to build, right? Because y'all are doing life together. For example, with using the Keena example, he says that she got bored of him, and maybe that's what she told him. I don't know the whole story, but one thing that I do realize, that a lot of guys don't know why the girl wants a divorce. They're like, I thought we was happy. I thought we was in a good space. The thing is, your girl, your wife, your lady is going to evolve. And if you're working too much, or you're not at the home as often as you need to be, you're not going to know this new person that she's becoming.
Yeah.
And she's not going to be able to know the new person you're becoming. There needs to be a level of relearning and understanding each other. Like, your girl knows you. I think your girl probably knows you better than anybody in your life right now. But that comes with, and I think, one, you're unique, because even though you're not vulnerable in your perspective, I think you're more vulnerable than the average person.
Okay.
And so you allow people to know you and learn you, and you share your thoughts without being like, oh, I'm scared that you might look at me less, right? And I don't know how your girl is, but you know your girl as well.
Yeah.
That helps you guys transition into different periods. She knows how to talk to you about certain things, and not to talk to you about certain things. She knows, what would push a button, what wouldn't push a button. She knows, like, okay, this is something, if I don't fix this, this might be it. Versus like, yeah, he's mad about this, but. So I think that knowledge building is necessary to know how to move and grow and shape a life together.
Yeah.
Whereas that might not be as necessary in other forms of relationships.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, I don't know. Like, I found a lot of I just don't want any of my relationships to be shallow. You know what I'm saying? Like, or even hollow, the way it looks like you hit it, there's nothing in there. You know what I'm saying? To where, like, everything that we do together is superficial. And when I say superficial, I'm not even talking about like something bougie or something like that, but like, we only go out to eat, we only spend money together, we only travel together, but we don't really know each other. You know what I'm saying? We just have the same likes and the same things the same interests. And it doesn't go on a deeper level. Like, I wouldn't trust you to watch my kids or something like that. You get what I'm saying? Or, like, I wouldn't put you down as a emergency contact and so forth. It's just like, hey, when I want to go to the movies, because this person like movies, we gonna go watch a movie. So it's like, I don't know. Like,
how do you build that with somebody outside of your girl?
I don't know. I don't know how to build it with somebody new, to be honest. Like, with y'all, I just grew up with y'all. So y'all just seen that I was doing stuff without the intention to do it for the friendship. We just grew up together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But with new friends, like Drake said, no new friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I understand. Like, because in a way, like, as a grown man, it's like, you don't want to trust nobody. Like, I trust enough people. And to trust somebody new, you know what I mean? And to trust somebody, no one can really gain your trust. You got to give them your trust. They can lose your trust.
Yeah.
But to have your trust, they can't gain it. There's no rule book of how to gain my trust. I'm going to give it to you if I choose to. But if you lose it, that's based on what you do in our relationship. So for me to go into a trusting new relationship, it's kind of like, is always going to be a block there. And maybe it's healthy, maybe it's not. You know what I mean? Maybe it goes back to that conversation we had about, like, talking and actually, like, actually trying to network with people. I don't want to, because I'm so used to all my friends being close to me, I don't know how to just talk to somebody on a pure networking, what can you do for me type of level. Because it doesn't seem real to me.
I don't think it is real.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and I think you mentioned something about that in the episode about being genuine and things like that. But there's people that be like, people say build your network, and they make it seem like it's so. It make it seem like it compartmentalizes from relationships and friendships. It's like, go ahead and build your network. Go ahead and build your network. And it's like, I don't know how to do that without building friendships first. Like, I gotta be friends with this person. I don't know how to build a network without being vulnerable in a way they don't see me for me. I don't want them to see me as just a mentee or see me as just an opportunity, because then it just makes me feel weird. It makes me feel fake, you know?
Yeah. One person that comes to mind when you was talking about this, or two people, I guess, are the Obamas. Now, they have so many celebrity friends now.
Oh yeah, the daughters.
No.
No. You talk about the parents.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know what. I mean, they probably I don't know anything about them outside one's a writer.
Actually, I think she wrote an episode on Swarm.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm talking about Barack Obama. I think he's friends with, like, a rocker, Conan. You got Michelle Obama, who's friends with Oprah. Like, you got all these people who are now friends with these people. And initially, I was like, man, they're only friends with the Obamas because they were, the president and the first lady at one time. But, I think that's where friendships start to form, right? I think we're no longer just friends because of, the proximity towards, within each other, like how close, where do you live? Okay. Or what the same activities that our parents are putting us in. And that's how we become friends. I think now friendships are a little bit more, some people would say, I don't know, using of each other. But there is a level of, like, okay, what is your position in life? And if your position is suitable to help me out, yeah, I would like to be friends. But I think there's a layer there that's like, you have to be a good person. There are certain people that would just be friends with you regardless of what type of person you are, just to use your status. But there is a layer. I think there is in a lot of these friendships that they look at the status first. It's like looking at, somebody you want to date. You look at what attributes that they have before you say, okay, I want to get to know you. I think it's the same thing with, like, adult friendships. You look at the attributes that these people have that are new to your life, and you're like, is it somebody that will add to my life or take away from my life? And if you think, just based off of what you see on paper, you think they would add to your life, then you get to know them. And sometimes, it might not work out. But if I'm being honest, I think, especially at a high level, a lot of these people are decent human beings. I know there's this whole thing like, to be successful, you have to be an a-hole and you have to be, a bully, or you have to run over
be
people.
A shark and
yeah,
stuff
you have
like
to be
that.
a shark. But I don't believe that you can have great relationships and not be a decent human being, especially at that level. So, that's something that I was also thinking about. It's like, how do you make new friends? Well, first you want to see if those people add something to your life. And then 2, you have to make sure you're somebody who adds something to people's lives. That's something that I'm personally working on, is like, how do I be not just, on my stats, but how do I be just a better human being to even the people that I have around me?
Yeah.
And then how do I share that with new people that are coming into my life?
But my thing is, when it comes to you, I don't view you as a vulnerable person. But I don't view you as someone who is closed off. It's weird. It's kind of like, I think if asked upon, maybe you share.
Yeah.
And you make it clear how much you would share, how much you wouldn't share. But I don't view you as not vulnerable. And I don't know if you can have as many good friendships as you may have or I may have without some type of vulnerability to it. Like, I'm no one's sensei. You get what I'm saying? So nobody should be coming to me all the time, always coming to me talking about what they going through without some type of exchange. Of course, not exchanging burden, because you don't believe in carrying other people's burden, but the exchange of in exchange of vulnerability, of if you tell me something about you that you're going through, we're not exchanging sad stories and so much, but I don't have to isolate myself from the experience and share with you or talk with you as if it's not me talking to you. You get what I'm saying? Like, as if, like, if you share something with me, I'm not going to give you hypotheticals. I'm going to talk about me and how it may relate to your situation. Even though I may not gone through exactly what you're going through, I may have felt what you felt. You get what I'm saying? Instead of giving you nursery rhymes or giving you parables and whatever. I think, like, when it comes to vulnerability, that's how I show my vulnerability. If somebody come to me and they going through something, more times than not, I felt afraid as well. I felt depressed as well. I felt happy as well. And maybe sharing my experience and how I beat those feelings or beat that time in my life can encourage you more than giving you an isolated experience that doesn't involve me. Is weird in a way. I don't know. Because I feel like that's how I make you feel confident or make you feel good about trusting me with something. Because it's kind of like, I don't want to say it.
Sorry.
It was loud as I don't know what.
Got the headphones.
It was loud as I don't know what. It's almost like collateral in a way. It's like, okay, you share something with me, I'm gonna share something with you. Now, don't be sharing stuff like, well,
I got hella bumps in mine.
Or
Bro,
like,
I was just asking, like, how you make cake?
exactly. Or you like, I killed somebody before. I'll be like, okay, no, you're going, you're going to jail.
911 call it.
Exactly. You
I got a killer on 3-way.
merge call.
Hey, bro, you want to share your name for him?
So, like, I do think there is an exchange of vulnerability when it comes to making friends and even keeping friends. And I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
I think, but I think outside of that, right, I think there is a level of service and well, maybe say there's different ways to show vulnerability, right? Like you mentioned, sharing or having your kid be watched by somebody. Like, that takes a lot of trust, and that's a vulnerable thing. It's like, Bringing your friends or people around your family or family events. That's a vulnerable thing. Just sharing your house or space with somebody, or asking your homeboy or your homegirl, like, hey, can you go pick up my dog or my girl or my brother real quick. I think there's ways of showing that you trust this person, or you see this person more than just like a surface level friend.
Yeah.
The problem is when you take advantage of that. And
Yeah.
even when you sharing stuff, like you were saying, like the person that only calls you every time they have something going on,
And they just dumping their day
they
on
just,
you.
and it's like, bro, I ain't got. And then you wonder why people stop answering your calls. But it's like there's a level, right? There's a level of like, oh, and it changes, right? It's like, I do this for you, you do this for me, and it's not like a tick for tat, but it's like there's a level of trust. I think for me, like when it comes to showing vulnerability, I think you're right. I think when asked upon, I have no problem sharing. But I'm not somebody who proactively goes and acts like. And I think it's a pride thing, if I'm being honest with myself.
But I don't even think, and maybe I'm wrong. Do your friends even expect that from you? Because I don't expect it from you.
Being vulnerable, no. But it's like if I need help, I probably won't ask for it.
Yeah, but it's kind of like now,
unless I really need it.
Now here,
Unless I run out of gas and I can't move, I'm like, bro, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Let me call Chris.
This is real life scenarios.
Like if I really need help, that's when I'll probably ask for help.
But maybe subconsciously, I don't expect vulnerability from you because you haven't shown it. So it's kind of like it's not like a I don't expect vulnerability because I don't expect vulnerability in my friendships. It's more like, oh, I'm friends with this person. Whenever they want to share, I give them the freedom to share whenever they want to.
Yeah.
But I'm not expecting vulnerability if I was to be vulnerable with this said person. And each person is different.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So many times than not, my expectation or other people's expectation is based off of, especially when I put expectation on somebody, I see how you operate first. And many times than not, I don't take anything personally because it's not like you're not vulnerable with me. You're not just a vulnerable person. Like, it's like, oh, this is just you. Yeah. I'm not taking it personally. Like, oh, why are you not? How come you don't share nothing with me? It's like, oh, this guy is, or like this girl is this way because that's part of their DNA. But it's like, to your point. Now, if you ask me and things like that, then I'm willing to share and things like that. Yeah. But I'm not going to proactively just open my chest up so you can see that I need help or that like I'm worried about something.
It's funny that you say that. Is because I don't see myself as a vulnerable person either. But then when I think about it, it's like there's not really a lot of things that I'm like, like it's not a lot of things that
you care about or something.
Not that I care about, but that I'm like dealing with that I'm scared. Like people know, even the podcast know, I'm fearful of like becoming famous and getting canceled.
Oh, okay.
People know that.
That's a weird fear, but I feel this man don't be saying nothing to be getting canceled, but it's like.
But yeah, I mean that's a fear that I share. I think that was a vulnerable thing. There's conversations that we had in the past that I don't think anybody really knows but you. And then there's and I've been in situations where the lady that I was talking to said, "Wow, you're super vulnerable," and caught me off guard. I was like,
"You're like, okay."
But I think it goes back to what you were saying. It's like I don't see myself as vulnerable. I just share how I'm feeling about certain things. Like
that leads me to think, maybe people really don't be sharing.
Yeah.
Like, and I know, like,
or just honest.
I know you like to say, like, that, like, well, you ain't say we. You say I'm unique. I don't think I'm special.
I don't know. What do you mean that you don't think? You think everybody's like you?
No.
And then what do you mean you're not special?
I mean, but
or unique.
But I don't think nobody is like. I think we're all different. But like, I don't think what I'm doing is hard. I just talk. You get what I'm saying? Like, if someone asks me a question or if somebody want to know how I'm feeling, I just tell them. What is being portrayed to me is that people are not talking. Guys are not talking to their girls. Girls are not talking to their guys. And I'm just like, I'm not doing anything that is like hard. It's not a genius level thing for me to do, to just tell you about how I feel about something.
It's an ego thing, though. That's what I think. I think it's an ego thing.
I have an ego. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not humble. You know what I mean? So it's like,
not being humble versus not feeling like people don't want to look a certain way.
Okay.
So like, you not being humble is like, oh yeah, I'm this, but I'm still the ish. Like, that's not being humble. Like, I get Fs, but I'm still the ish. Like, versus like, no, I did okay in the test. Like, nobody wants to look like the failure. Like, and I think that's the issue. Like, guys don't want to look weak. Girls don't want to look desperate. And so, and this is in relationships, right? But even in friendships, no one wants to look needy, or the other person doesn't want to look like, you know, they don't have, even the show that we watching, right? The How to Get Rich or Live Your Rich Life or whatever that show is called.
Coming soon.
The lady, one of the ladies on there.
Did you finish the series?
I got halfway.
Okay, I finished it.
But the one of the ladies on there, she bought a condo, and
she ain't had no hot water.
She ain't have no hot water, and she didn't want to sell the condo, even though it was a financial burden, because of how it made her look. And she said it was embarrassing. But it's one of those things where it's like,
I can't relate.
Yeah, I can't relate either. I wouldn't even bought the condo. like, y'all know I lived with my parents for like a minute. Like, I can't relate to the point where it's like, but that's people's reality. They don't want to look a certain way, and I think that's due to ego, and that's why certain people are not vulnerable or share their most vulnerable moments, because it's like, I don't want you to see me as weak or irresponsible or not being able to fend for myself. Versus, like, you know, I think how we think is like, you know, I mean, there's certain things we probably won't share with, you know, most people, but for the most part, it's like, you know, I'm not perfect, but yeah, I'm that I'm that guy.
I mean, I do call myself the great one, so it is what it is, man. But if you can, I know usually this is Chin's line, but if you can, go to therapy.
Man, you know, I don't say that no more. So.
Yeah.
I used to be a big therapist advocate, and then I won, and I was like, "Oh, this game's too easy." I thought there would be more.
And my man tried to re-enter the game. They was like, "You ain't got."
Yeah, you're straight.
Yeah, you like, oh, I really want therapy, but
I would say, and this might be weird because, you know, the whole self-help, but I would say, be with yourself, like, really dig into yourself. I you know, recently, you know, now you talking about vulnerability, and I'll share this. Recently, there's in the couples book that I'm reading.
Okay.
There's a section where you're supposed to, they give you a bunch of questions about yourself, and then you have to write out the answers for those questions about yourself, and then share it with your partner. Just to build that knowledge map that I was talking about.
It's like these questions like tough.
Yeah, we only got one section done, and so it was like, what do you see success and all this stuff.
Oh, okay, that's easy.
But while writing, I realized why I don't care for "I love you." Like when somebody says "I love you," like it matters to me, but it's like I'm like, okay, cool,
okay.
And you know, I realized, like, while writing, I was like, it probably stems from my relationship with my father and my mother. My mother didn't say that much, but I know she loves me.
It's like, it's kind of like my father.
Yeah, I know. Like, there's so many sacrifices. Like, she basically lived her life, especially most of her adult life,
for her kids. Yeah.
Whereas my father, every time I saw him, he said, "I love you." Like he was like, I love you. Like he would like pour me with love, and I think that's also why I never had like that.
Because you kind of you didn't believe him or something like that.
No, yes, but I think also I never had like my father doesn't want me type of feeling.
Okay,
because of that, so it doesn't matter to me.
Okay,
but it was like you love me, but I haven't seen you for like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. You love me, but it's like I don't see you putting in the work like my mom is putting in the work. And I realized, like, when my girl says it, I'm like, okay, what have you done for me lately? Okay.
Yo.
Just being vulnerable, or being honest with that. And so I think, outside.
But that means you really want therapy because you figured that out on like your own and stuff like that.
But yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I would say therapy does, and it's not like TV therapy, right? Where TV therapy, they find the problems for you, but get you a therapist that helps you get the tools to better understand yourself. Yeah. Because what that does is like, one, it saves you money, and you know me, I'm all about efficiency. But two, it also helps you know how to figure out these problems within yourself. And I think writing, not on social media, because
yeah,
we want friends. Use your friends.
And when did y'all had to share it with each other and stuff?
We haven't done. We're gonna do it this week, so she doesn't even know about this. I actually just wrote this out yesterday.
Oh, don't worry about it. She ain't. But probably
she not gonna see this.
No, I'm just saying. I'm probably by the time of this. Well, not probably by the time this episode come out, it's gonna be out.
Yeah. But
that's interesting.
But I'm just saying, therapy is not the end all be all.
No, it's not. Actually, there's a such thing as going to therapist too much.
Yeah.
Because you have to your point, you have to live out your life.
Practice this.
Exactly. You have to live out your life before you can include somebody else to observe it. So, you ain't going to be nothing to observe. You ain't do nothing, Man, make sure y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, man. Blessings,
2 for 2, man.
Oh, man.
Damn. Sorry. I know you was going so fast. I thought you was going to give us more of a speech.
I'm like 135. I'm making good time right now.
Oh, well, I was just saying, we can do the whole thing over. But I was just saying, you 2 for 2.
I'm 2 for 2 with what?
Come out with these random topics.
Next episode, we got to hit your topic, okay?
All right.
Make sure y'all have a good week, man. Blessings.